So this is just real life Reiki. And it's one of the things that we talk about all the time because for me, Reiki is a healing modality, but it's also a revealing modality. It reveals your gifts. It reveals your innate knowing. It reveals your innate truth. And so for me, the way that I use that, of course, is, I'm, of course, a professional practitioner and Reiki teacher and things, but I really use it for my real life. And in circumstances, we've got a lot going on in the household and in the family today. And I know the best thing I can do, first of all, is be here with community and be here with others and also invite Reiki to assist in the real life circumstances. So take a moment right now to just notice. Sorry. Oh, Mary, that is so funny. Siberian Huskies are puppies till they're 8 years old. Yeah. And they're sore from being a puppy for so many years by 8. Oh, I love it. Anyway, back to real life. Um, we talk about it all the time as the resource and tool we have available. Reiki energy is the resource. The tools are the techniques we use to access that energy and that resource in a way that gives us the ability to connect to it, to receive it, and then also to deliver it. But it's also what it really does is activates within us our, like I say, our gifts, our talents, our skills, our confidence. Even when we don't feel like it, it doesn't mean we always feel the same way of what that truth is that's inside and we're aware of at the same time. But the Reiki energy takes you to a more solution-oriented, resource-oriented mind and thought and consciousness for your real life. And I talk about it all the time from the perspective of Reiki on the fly. So right now, my day started busy at 5 a.m. It's 9:40 and Pacific time. And it's been busy every minute. So I can feel my energy inside. Like if I just take a moment to notice my body, it's like, my breath is a little bit constricted, that the passageways are like a little bit gnarly, maybe, gnarled up, things like that. So the tool that I have is to access Reiki by activating it. I can do that quickly, on the fly, in the moment, because what happens is it opens your cellular memory, your cellular knowledge, and wakes up your, uh, um, beneficial human qualities to manage your everyday life. And there's a lot to manage right now. Let's be fair. And now we're heading into holidays, so it's a big time. So anyway, yeah, look at some of the things in the chat about people who need Reiki and healing and on all different levels. So with everything that I just said, the most beneficial thing to do right now is go into the invocation and access Reiki. I've done it on the fly. I've been talking with it all morning, but it's still in this moment, since I have the ability and we have the ability to come together in this kind of energetic circle that we empower and we all participate in, creating a collective energy, as of the circle, but also for us individually. So just take a moment right now to notice where you are. Like, notice your energy. Where's your mind? What's your breath like? I know for me, I can tell one of the things is how fast I talk. Like, and then. I haven't had a bunch of coffee. So anyway, all right. So with all that said, let's go ahead and go into, I'll see if it's going to be a short invocation, and then we're going to talk about the topic. And so today, the topic that we want to talk about is really addressing the healing that we do at a soul level. And what does that mean? Because that's what Reiki does, and how it reveals at the soul level those gifts that I'm talking about, your soul's inner awareness, what you came in with. So Reiki not only heals the blocks to that, the limitations or the injuries that you've experienced in your life or in your soul's history, but it also reveals the very great soul's knowledge that you have right here and your own inner truth. And then the next big piece is how to listen to yourself. And how do you actually go in and connect with that soul's knowledge within you and in your real life. But Reiki works on so many levels of us, and working at the soul level is kind of what I wanted to talk about today, and then it went ahead and went into it in the invocation. And we know that Reiki helps with our mental and emotional and physical well-being, but it also works deeply at a soul level. And soul to me is defined in any way that it is defined by you. So each of you have your own meaning for that. And what Reiki does is takes you into the depth of your meaning for it. All of my work, beginning with my training in shamanism and then my Reiki work, I always had an awareness that we were doing work at a soul level, soul healing level. And so I've had a lot of experience with it, and what does that mean in my own perception, and then the results that I see of the healing that happens. And what we know with Reiki energy is that it heals at these levels of the soul. The understanding of it is that the Reiki energy is what's doing the healing work. The techniques that we use to connect with the Reiki energy is how we do that. It's the how-to. We can think it, we can, physically do things. There's lots of different healing modalities that do work at the soul level. And they have different energies that they work with, and they have different techniques that they work with. And I've been trained in a whole lot of different ones and landed on the ways that Reiki works for me with the energy. I resonate with the energy of Reiki out of all the spiritual energies that I've worked with over the years to do that soul level healing work. One of the things, there are two main pieces for me in why I really like the way Reiki energy does this work, is because as it is healing the person, it's also healing whatever is released by the person. So some modalities in those circumstances cast those out. So just as a comparison. Again, lots of different ways that it works. There's just going to be the resonance for each person in the traditions they're called to, or the ways they're called to, or the energies they're called to. So I only compare it to give Reiki a specific, give a specific awareness of it. So it heals what we let go of, and it heals and dissolves cords, connectors, attachments. And the way I see that doing it is that it's not necessarily coming in and cutting those. It can, it's not wrong to do that. But the way it shows, and I observe how it does the work, is that it actually just dissolves those cords, connectors, and attachments. Everything just kind of lifts up, goes into the light, and the client is just simply released of the burden. Sometimes we need to know the details, and then other times people just need to have a release. So, for instance, today in the invocation, where, the releasing whatever is blocking that power of love, or releasing whatever is blocking the divine mind or your pure heart, what's hiding you, what's restricting your breath. And the Reiki energy goes all the way to that soul's level, this lifetime, other lifetimes, ancestral histories, your soul's history, because your soul has its own history. It has its, things that you did before you came here and before you're in this lifetime. And of course, in your soul's history right now, you are here in your lifetime. So that's why, to me, I don't know, there's all kinds of philosophies about all the different perceptions of what all of that means. But for me, because I like to be kind of practical and grounded, I think of Reiki and how the awareness that my soul and me are right here in my everyday real life. So how does this come in and do that work? So the second thing I love about why I like the way that Reiki energy does the healing work is the next step is that it reveals who you actually are. And that's the more powerful healing of it all. So the way that it shows up to me, and we actually have a technique that we teach in our level 2 next step class called the Spirit Reveal technique. And we talk about that in different ways, but essentially what's happening, and you'll see it in this invocation if you go back and look at it, is the energy comes in, fills you up, fills up, and shines the light on those things that are hiding you from you, the injuries, the cords, connectors. And then they go into the light as you release what's let go of. And then in the next part of it is showing you who you actually are. It's bringing in your gifts, your talents, your abilities, your soul's knowledge, that innate wisdom that you were brought in with. That sometimes because of life, we lose track. Sometimes it's underdeveloped, sometimes it's actively suppressed, sometimes it's just like, feels like it's never been there before. But ultimately, what happens with Reiki, because it's also healing at a soul level, it's also revealing at that soul level that love that you are. And in your divine mind, the way that shows up, and again, if you go back and listen to the elements of that invocation, coming into each of your chakras, going through each one, because each of your chakras is part of your perceptions. It's called whole body listening. We did a whole month's worth of that topic back in June. You can find it on our YouTube channel. about that whole body listening. And then being able to hear from your perception triad, your gut, heart, and head brains. So your divine mind is now working in your human mind. Your thoughts, your consciousness awaken and take you into another level of thought where you can hear you. What are your solutions? What are your resources? And it elevates you beyond that outside noise that can be, and I don't know about you guys, but for me, it is so loud that I need to be paying attention, but at the same time, I need to have my own space to be above all of the noise that's out there so I can see clearly, think clearly, observe, be where I am. And then the energy comes in and also says, well, let's just help you be stable through it all. The ground underneath you may feel like it's wobbling. It may even feel like it's unstable. And so that's where it brings in that connection with the earth, because your soul is here in your body and your body's made of the earth. So it really makes sense to be stable with the earth. And of course, the metaphor they use is the tree of life, that your roots are growing deeply into the earth. The other thing that happens with that is not only do you receive from the earth, but you're also communicating with the earth through your root system what you need. And the same thing is true with the branches reaching up into the heavens. You're receiving that wisdom and knowledge from, again, the source that the heavens are to you. And it's coming in and waking that up within you. So your divine spirit, your human spirit are one. And it reveals in your daily life. It reveals through right now. And then there's the wisdom of the earth, because you're made of the earth. You have an ancestral history. You have a soul's history. You have other lifetimes. You have lifetimes between the lifetime. Not everybody, has been on the earth a lot, but a good amount of us have been here at least more than one time. And so being connected to the earth and the stability of the earth, and let it stabilize you, because that's where you have clarity of mind. That's where you have access to what is that innate knowledge and innate truth that you have for your resourcefulness, your solutions, what you need in your daily life. So anyway, going to the how-to of it, truthfully right now, I really, truly will just stop for a moment, breathe, invite Reiki. Sometimes I may do it where I actually, have the time or the place or whatever to actually place my hands in gasho. But other times it's a lot on the fly right now. My world is an on-the-fly Reiki world in this moment in my real life. So other times I get to be in, lots of time with everything and get to be in the stillness of it. But right now I'm in the busyness of it. If you're in the stillness of it or somewhere in between, then just invite it in the way that works for you. It's the other thing Reiki is trying to teach us is we don't have to invite it in any particular way. We can invite it in all different ways and invite it according to what is the most appropriate for you in that moment. And again, I love when I get to have long Reiki sessions and self Reiki, and I'm, kind of in the zone a lot, but also knowing that Reiki is as effective to reach that soul's level, those higher elements of thought, in the busyness, in the noise, to actually call on the sources that I have available. And most of the time I'll just say, okay, Reiki, I receive, and let it help me navigate through decision-making, choices, next steps. So the next step classes, the 12 Heavens classes, start in January. The registration opens for that. Well, I say tomorrow because today's Tuesday. This will be posted on Thursday. So for those of you seeing this in the post, the registration is open for those classes. We have lots of information about them. You can also email us at Colleen@ReikiLifestyle.com if you have more questions. And we have lots of information about it on our website and podcasts and things. Oh, next Tuesday is the gratitude ceremony, and that will be during this time, so the distance Reiki share, and that is from 9:30 to 11. It'll probably be 2 hours. Usually those run 2 hours, so 9:30 to 11:30 on Tuesday. That's Pacific time, and it's okay if you need to come late and leave early. It's totally always okay in this setting. And Animal Reiki and Reiki 1 and 2 coming up. Yeah, in December. Well, thank you all for being here.